Okay. Well, in the main event of Bellator 285, Benson Henderson defeats Peter Queally by unanimous decision. What did you make of Bendo's performance over Queally?
First off, did I tell you guys to watch that walkout? That walkout was fucking awesome. That Dublin crowd, when that zombie song hits and Peter Queally walks, they give one hell of a reaction. That's the second time for him. Unfortunately, he's 0-2, but it's an awesome walkout. As for the fight, how about that, huh? A Benson Henderson fight where he was the aggressor from jump and where he kept up the pace and kept up the volume. Amazing how different he can look when he does that. We all know Benson possesses the skills. He always has. Now, he's not necessarily going to knock you out cold in there, but he's able to do just about every other damn thing there is to do besides that. And he finally comes in here against Peter Queally. Maybe it's because I was right that Queally isn't on this level. Maybe it's just that Benson got so pumped up from the Dublin crowd that he went in there with a lot of adrenaline. Maybe he just finally got himself to do it because, he's been talking about it in his press conferences and stuff about upping the aggression, and he just hasn't followed through. So who knows what the reason was that it finally happened. But he came in there, and he put it on Peter Queally. He kept up the output. He went forward. His cardio, we know, is there for days, and he leaned on that, and he leaned on the well-roundedness to a point where Peter Queally just couldn't figure out a way to change the fight where he'd be in any less trouble because he was in trouble wherever it was going. And I thought Benson's use of elbows was a little bit of a new wrinkle that we don't usually see from him, and they were beautiful. Some of them were nasty, including, obviously, the one that dropped Queally in the 4th round. But overall, I was really impressed with Benson, and I really, really hope we get to see a few more performances like that across what is apparently going to be these last 3 fights, because Benson fights like that, he's an interesting fighter.
Yeah, favorite moment of the fight, obviously, was the from the floor, wheel kick that Benson
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Unreal athleticism, this guy. Unreal.
Incredible. And it landed so clean.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you're Queally, you're like, I didn't see that fucking coming.
Yeah.
But
he just beat me for 25 minutes, and then he had to cap it off with that shit.
Oh, my God. And we joked in our text thread, you, me, and Omar, about somebody said, was it Coker, who was like, Benson Henderson he's the best 155 in the world.
It was his
manager?
His coach. What is his coach's freaking name? Why am I blanking? Well, whoever it was Benson Henderson's coach.
We joked at the obvious ridiculousness of that statement. But you bring
Crouch,
up an interesting
John Crouch.
Okay, John Crouch. We laughed at the obvious absurdity of that sentence. But you kind of brushed up against an interesting point that when we get aggressive Benson Henderson, the skill set that he possesses, the athleticism that he possesses, the frame that he possesses at 155 pounds, it makes you wonder, man, of not how good he could have been, because he is so good, but what other heights he could have achieved if he kind of didn't fight so, I don't know, safe? Is that the right word?
Yes, and I totally agree. The guy checks nearly every box there is to check. As I said, he is not a knockout artist, so he doesn't have that box. But he's an educated striker. He'll hurt you. He fights super intelligent, both offensively and defensively. Good game planner, all that. Really responsible defensive fighter. He can wrestle his ass off. He's got nasty grappling. He'll tap you if you make a mistake. He's got cardio for days. He's got a chin. It's hard to hurt him. I mean, he checks. I'm sure there's other boxes I'm forgetting, but he checks nearly every box there is to check. It's just that a lot of times he kind of goes in there and is content to almost chess match it. And it's like, Benson, why don't you get in a little bit of a fight here and things might go more your way. And that's what he finally did in this fight.
You know who brought that out of him a little bit? Nate Diaz, when he fought Nate.
Yeah,
because Nate pulls everybody into the alligator waters. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he brought that out of Benson Henderson. And anyway, we're not here to talk about that fight. We're here to talk about Benson Henderson and Queally. Okay, let's talk about where Benson Henderson goes off of this fight. he's up there in the Bellator lightweight rankings. Where do you see him going from here?
So he's calling for a title shot against the winner of Patricky Pitbull and Usman Nurmagomedov, which I want to say is in November. So pretty soon. He seems to think that there's no one else who's deserving. Like, he kind of is acting like it's his shot. But if we're being honest, the guy lost 3 in a row before this 2-fight win streak. So I don't think we're quite there. I think there's at least a couple other guys. Tofik Musayev just came in and wrecked Sidney Outlaw, and he's a guy who already has a win over Patricky. Then you add in Alexander Shabley, who is 3-0 in Bellator, and he just finished Brent Primus, who beat Benson 2 fights ago. So I feel like he's kind of ahead of Benson as well. Neither of them is booked at the moment, Musayev and Shabley, so it's possible that Bellator is going to book them against each other, but I think what's more likely is they probably pick one of them to fight the winner of Patricky and Usman, and I'm thinking it's going to be Musayev. So if that happens, I think Benson and Shabley probably makes sense, but either way, I don't think it is going to be Benson's title shot. It would surprise me if he got it right away without one more win.
Do you see any Bellator lightweight matching up with Peter Queally next?
I hadn't thought about Queally.
Yeah, okay.
Let me look quick about what I feel like may make sense. See, I don't rank Queally. You know how I'll say for Queally? Spike Carlisle is fighting AJ McKee this weekend. The presumption is Spike loses that fight. I think that matchup actually makes some sense. Oh, shit.
What?
Oh, shit. I didn't even see this. Today, apparently Scott Coker announced that the next Grand Prix is lightweight and that it's happening in 2023. So forget everything I just said because we're going into a Grand Prix.
Sick.
Wow. Hold on, let me look at this real quick. He mentions Musayev, mentions Patricky, mentions Usman. But see, so that fight's happening first then, obviously. Yeah, okay, so this is 2023, he said. So, yeah, he mentions Brett Primus. He mentions McKee. That's it. So I got to think, what would 8 be? Let's see. Patricky, Usman, Musayev, Shabley, that's 4. Primus, Benson Henderson is 6. Probably Sidney Outlaw is 7. Maybe the 8th spot is up for grabs. I guess it could be Queally. Could be Islam Mamedov. Trying to think who else is out there. It's kind of the guys, unless I'm forgetting someone. But that's, hey, I'm down.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.